Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Today's video is a Tactics Thursday. We're going to be talking about how Leeds United and why Leeds United are the best counter-attacking side in the Championship at the moment. And there's some method to the madness of why we're so good in counter-attacking moments. Because a lot of people would maybe look at counter-attacks and think, well, it's just all based on instinct and the players will just go and run towards goal as fast as possible with the ball. Sound a bit like Marsh there, but with no real plan. But Leeds certainly do have a plan for their counter-attacks, and that's why it has been working so well. The main four focus players in this video are going to be the ones in the thumbnail, so I have actually labelled them on the little markers here. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but Pirro, James, Somerville, Jorginho, but I've put him down as R for Rutter. Could have put a G, but I put an R. Never mind. So the first situation we're going to look at is a corner, because it's a... You can't quite see that. There you go. There's the man in the corner. Is a corner kick, because those are the situations where opposition teams have a lot of players up the pitch and they want to get as many people in the box to try and create a scoring opportunity. I saw actually... I think it was a Tifo video the other day saying that it's like only about 3% of corners actually go in, something like that anyway. So they're really not a massive scoring opportunity, but teams do still put a lot of stock in throwing players forward for them. So usually Leeds would leave one player up, and the rest of them are in the box marking these players or marking their zones of these players. So I've put Melier in goal. Then you'll have players like Strauch at the front post, Rodon marking this area, the full-backs at either side ready to intercept that if that's to come in and not get past the first man. That'll be your Sam Byram heading it out. And that's really what we're going to talk about here. If this corner is from this side, you'll find that Jorginho will take up a position here on the edge of the box, on that corner of the box. If the corner is from this side over here, I think what happens is Jorginho would take a position here, and Dan James would maybe go a little bit more central there, because this position is optimal for the corner kick to come out to you. So really what we're looking at here is the ball coming in like this, say Sam Byram, or it could be, I don't know who else this is, Ampadu, somebody like that. The ball usually is going to actually get headed into Jorginho's feet. So just to give you a chance to keep track of what's going on here, ball comes into the box, Sam Byram heads it straight to Jorginho Rutter. Now this is the trigger for basically us to just go, because we've seen it so many times down this left-hand side. This is the side we're more prominent on. When I said that Jorginho goes over here, he doesn't do it as much, and that's why we don't counter-attack down that right-hand side anywhere near as much. But what will happen is Jorginho picks up the ball here. You'll find that this midfielder tries to come and press him, but Somerville has already made his run. So Somerville is going to run over here, ready to receive that ball. And we've seen Jorginho so many times, he's able to knock that ball into Somerville's path. So when Somerville gets to here, Dan James has already made a run all the way up here, and Joel Pirro is as well. These players obviously are getting back at the same time. But as all of these players are getting back and backing off, that is when Somerville is running at them and running at them and running at them. Most of the time, Somerville will start to come central in those situations. And as he comes into this central area, that is when you find that Pirro starts to make his runs. So these players are backing off more and more, and Pirro likes to make a run across Somerville like this so that he's got the option to play that pass. So Somerville can play that pass if it's on, goes into Pirro, Pirro's through on goal. But that doesn't always happen. So what happens is Pirro makes this run, and then Somerville is able to go into this gap, because that is where Pirro has dragged his man. Because obviously, as an opposition defender in the Championship, if Joel Pirro, one of the top scorers in the Championship over the last couple of seasons, has made this run over here, you're going to have to go with him. You're going to have to track the man. So what that does is it opens up more space for the likes of Somerville to carry on running in there. Now, his goals against Norwich, he just took the ball all the way. Let's put the goalkeeper would have dropped back into his box at this point. He just took the ball all the way, so he was able to get all the way through to here and then curl that ball in the bottom corner. but that doesn't always happen. So the reason that Piru makes that run is to allow him to do things like that. But also, this is where Dan James gets involved. Also, don't forget, Jorginho will come in and try and help with this attack as well as it's happening. And obviously, some of these players will be making those runs back by now, but they're never going to catch them on this break. So that's why I've left them there for now, just to leave it a bit less complicated. So Dan James, though, again, he's going to make a similar run to what Piru did. He's going to make a run across here, and that is going to drag players with him, allowing Somerville to maybe go outside or to go inside or to play that ball into Dan James as well there. So essentially what it is that Jorginho will pick up the ball here. Jorginho picks it up here. His ball is into Somerville, so Somerville has the ball. He carries that, and that is when, let's say that Piru started here. He's made that run all the way up there, and then he darts across sideways, drags those players out of position, and that is when Somerville can go across like that, go across his path. He can either play a ball into him, or he can play a ball into Dan James, who's also made that run, which you have seen as well. But if Dan James isn't used, that is when Somerville will go alone in the goals, like you saw against Norwich. Now, this doesn't always happen perfectly like this. So in certain situations, we'll just reset that here. So on the right-hand side, we are never as effective at counter-attacking because Dan James isn't as good of a ball carrier as what Crescencio Somerville is, and a lot of the time, Jorginho isn't there to pick up this ball and to play that pass into Dan James. Dan James is good at carrying the ball, but when he gets up against a man, the thing he tends to do is knock it past them and then try and run around them with the ball, and a lot of the times he will get fouled, pulled back, or he won't quite manage to get past his man. So we are less effective on the right-hand side. And this video is basically saying why we are so effective on the left is because a lot of the time, and you've seen it so many times, Jorginho picks up the ball here. There was that one, I can't even remember who it was against. I think it might have been in a game very recently. And he just volleyed it over the top of this defender who was coming at him, and Somerville was able to pick it up here, and all those players. Somerville is more of a player who won't try and go straight past someone. He'll run directly at them, forcing them to back off and to think about what movements they're making. And obviously, Piru makes that run across his path. That means that Somerville can go into the middle here. And then if Dan James has made a move, there's the chance for a 1-2. It basically allows these players to create decoy runs for Somerville. And a lot of the time, it's so difficult to deal with for the defenders because this player doesn't know whether to go with Piru. He doesn't know whether to stay and plug the gap. But if he stays and plugs the gap, then Somerville can find Piru down the outside. It's a very difficult thing to defend because when Leeds are running at you that quickly and when there's runs coming across you, even though you think they're probably going to be a decoy run, the general like professional coaching of football doesn't allow you to make that guess. You have to go with that man just in case he does get the ball, because if he does get the ball and score, that's when the coach will absolutely crucify you for it. So they have to follow the men, and that's why Leeds are so effective at counter-attacking, because when we do get up there, our whole front four are involved in those attacking moves. Now, obviously, it's not just a case of corner kicks as well. You could have a free kick here, but Jorginho will still pick up a position. He might even be in the wall or somewhere out here. And when he does pick up the ball, from that ball crossed into the box, it usually gets headed out to him. And I think it's not just heading the ball anywhere on those clearances. It's purposely heading the ball towards Jorginho because he's got that upper body strength. He can hold off the man next to him, and he can flick it around the corner for somebody like Somerville to run onto. We have seen Piru run with the ball as well, but he's not as quick, not as effective at causing that. So then he tends to drop off the ball to other players. But in an ideal situation for Leeds, it's Rutter into Somerville, and then Somerville drives into the heart of the opposition defence, and Piru makes a run across his path. James makes a run across his path, and eventually one of them at least can get through on goal and put it in the back of the net. And we've seen that so many times this season. I just wanted to talk about why I think it's so effective. If you have any questions, just put them down below, put them in the comments. Any other things that you've noticed that you might want me to go through in these type of videos? Like I say, if it's Tactics Thursday, it means I'll be doing them every Thursday. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about how good we are at counterattacking, because I've started to notice those patterns, and I think it's really important that we highlight this sort of this area here in which Jorginho picks up the ball a lot of the time from those corners. It comes into his zone, and that's when he comes to life. Picks up the ball there, and then over the top of this player who comes into his zone, which obviously vacates all this space here, which means that he can play that ball into Somerville, and then Somerville's got the run of the pitch almost as Piroux and James start to join the attack and make those runs across his path to allow him to carry on with the ball. And drag all these players out of position, and it often really works well for Leeds. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope it was another little tactical insight that we can provide you on this channel. And like I say, get down in the comments below, let me know if there's anything else that you want me to talk through. I've got another one I'm thinking of, showing what does Joel Piroux actually do on the football pitch, and I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research for that one, because it might be some screenshots and stuff where I'm analysing what he's done. So give this video a like if you want to see that, and that might be coming out on the channel in a few weeks' time. But thanks for watching Leeds Lately, and I'll see you in the next one.